Hey everyone, alright, time for a little test, and I suppose a bit of a review of the Fender Squier Stratocaster Mini. Gonna take this little guy here, this little miniature red Gary Moore looking Squier Mini Strat, run it through the Bias FX 2 Elite guitar software suite, and see if we can't pull a killer David Gilmour tone out of it with some of the same settings that I often use on my big boy Strats for playing Gilmour. Gonna see if I can get my way through Pink Floyd's Comfortably Numb solo on these 20 little frets, and like I said, put it through maybe a bit of a Gilmour tone test at the same time. But before we do, I just have to say that these things are pretty darn cool. What we're looking at here is a 3/4 size Strat guitar made by Squier. Great starter guitars for little hands and little budgets. My big old paws just absolutely envelop this neck. It's got that classic Strat shape, 5-way selector switch here, Indian Laurel fretboard, a super thin neck for little hands. 20 frets, like I said, typical 3 single coil pickup configuration, but only one volume, one tone instead of the usual 3 that you'll find on the big boys. And no whammy bar on this. Very smart move on their part there. I bought this for my 6-year-old son about a year ago, but until earlier today, I haven't actually plugged it in and tested it out myself to see how it sounds and how it plays. Sadly, my son, up to this point, hasn't really shown much interest in it, but I'm hopeful. I did my own setup on this thing this afternoon, and it plays absolutely fantastically. Tone-wise, it does sound a fair bit thin, but that's to be expected, I suppose, and the sustain is pretty poor compared to its 10 times more expensive big brother. But that as well was nothing too surprising. But overall, just a fantastic beginner guitar for your kids to get started on, despite its few tonal deficiencies. However, I don't think that many 6, 7, 8, 9-year-old kids are going to be complaining too much about lack of sustain and not being able to dial in a nice creamy Strat tone. Regardless, let's jump in here and give some David Gilmour a playthrough and see how that goes, and see how she sounds through some effects-laden Bias FX 2 guitar software. This is the solo to Comfortably Numb by David Gilmour and Pink Floyd, played through a $200 Squier Strat Mini. Well now, what do you think of the Fender Squier Mini? Pulling off some David Gilmour. I think it sounded pretty good, actually. A little thin, like I said, and getting the sustain on some of those notes was not easy. I had to use maybe a little bit more gain than I would normally use, but overall, 8 out of 10, maybe. I think it sounded pretty good. And, very surprised with these little things. They're very well built, and they're very cool, cute little guitars. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that, and if you're looking to pick up a little travel guitar maybe, or a guitar for your kids, you could do no better than this. It's just just a great little size for a kid, anywhere from up to maybe 12 or 13 years old. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that, like I said, and hope you're well out there in your little guitar corner of the world, and we will see you next time. Cheers.